1, 2, 3. Good evening, grade 4s. You have turned to Dead Air Radio, and I'm your new evening host, Andrew Scott. You can call me Andy for short. I'll bring in you everything you need to know to stay safe, stay informed, and be ready for the next foreign day. So, let's get right into it. Today was surprisingly bright for late February. Clear skies, light breeze, almost warm enough to forget it's still winter. And from the looks of it, tomorrow's shaping up the same way, so maybe don't pack those heavy coats just yet. Now, in local news, as many of you know, after last week's unfortunate on-air incident involving our former host, I've stepped in to take over the evening's slot. I'm new to Grade 4s, just moved into a place on Eclipse Road. Nice little house, quiet neighbourhood, very quiet. If you see me around town, feel free to say hi. I don't bite usually. Anyways, moving on. A tabby cat named Jessica has gone missing near Farners Park, close to Dock Heaven. Brown fur, white spot on the face, blue collar with a small silver tag. If found, please return to Dock Heaven Street, number 4, where Tracy Horn will meet you there. Let's try and keep our pets inside after dusk, shall we? Next, the mayor has announced that next week there will be a public interview, a planning address regarding the future developments in Grey Falls. He promised transparency. We'll see about that. Well, it seems like a calm, peaceful day in Grey Falls for today. So I think that's all for public announcements. That's everything you need to know to stay informed in our lovely town. I'll pass it back over to Tom for the hits of the week. What a pain. 1, 2, 3. Good evening again. Now that the casual listeners are gone, let's speak plainly. To the true people of the evening show, welcome back. As you know, after last week's enthusiastic hunt for our previous host, I've been assigned to replace him. I'll be handling things from here on out. So let's not try to do anything silly that we might all regret. Even if you do listen to it. Let's see what we have planned tonight, shall we? This submission came in only a few hours ago. If I'm unlucky, it'll be a new spirit. Even though I've been told that they're rare. But no, my luck, anything could happen. In the best ways, it could just be a random spirit that hasn't hunted much and barely anyone knows about. In worst cases, it's one of you lot. The main hunters, the main beings in this small, unforgiven, unknowing town. Or maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Weird, untrained drugs tampering with the mind, but we don't get many misunderstandings in Grey Force, now do we? Let's listen to this new one. Letter submission sent to us a few hours ago, read by host Andrew Scott. Let's begin. My name is Maves Mars. I live on Wind Hollow Street, number 8. The grey house with red curtains. I'm a single parent with my son Martin. We lived here for around 3 years now. Nothing strange ever happened. Not once. Not until I brought that stupid desk. I bought it from a man named Kyle West. He works at Best Will on Milford Lane, if I remember correctly. Said it was their bestseller, discounted too. At first, it was fine. I used it as a nightstand. Kept my alarm clock on it, my watch in the drawers, lipstick, phone charge, the usual. It was a good desk. It was old looking though. Not old like being used, more just like it's been in the shelves and not looked after, catching dust for a bit too long. But after the first few nights, a quick sweep over and it was fine. It was fine for so long until things started moving. My clock would end up on the floor. Items from inside the door would go missing. At first, I thought I was losing it, thought I was misplacing stuff. I thought I was going crazy. Well, that was until one morning. My watch was in the drawer. The next night, my lipstick ended up under my pillow. Then my phone disappeared. After searching around my room for who knows how long, trying to search for my phone, I looked behind the desk and realised something was wrong. The back of the desk, or, well, no, it was more, the inside of the desk was smaller than it should be. The back panel looked wrong. So I quickly grabbed the knife and thought to cut the back of the drawer. I don't know why I did that. Now think about it. It sounds weird, but I felt compelled to do it. In some way, maybe I wanted to just see what was there. Maybe I thought my phone somehow fell at the back of it or something. Who knows now? Who really cares why I did it? By the time it was cut, when I cut the back of it, that's when I saw it. A white face, stiff, thin, black eyes, and something like a tongue pressed against the wood. It was attached to the back of the drawer. It it almost looked alive as it moved its tongue left to right as it looked at me. I panicked, dropped my knife. Before I even knew, it landed on my finger, cutting my finger open as blood started to hit the floor. I stumbled backwards and screamed as the two drawers beneath it opened and two long, pale arms unfolded from inside them. You'll make me sound crazy when I say this, but they bended in ways arms shouldn't bend, stretching down to the floor in unnatural, almost spiral pattern methods as it scooped up my blood and brought it back into the top of the drawer. As it did, I heard a sound of what I could only describe as drinking, and then another sound of not hunger, but of what I could only describe as joy, as the drawers slowly closed on themselves again, and everything looked normal again. At this point, Martin must have heard me scream and ran in. Without even thinking, I started spinning everything that I saw. I thought for a second he might thought I sound crazy, that my old age had finally got to me. But instead he went pale, but only for a second. Then he told me we should leave and report it. I don't know if he believed me, but he didn't question me. That was nice, at least. The police told me to write everything down and send it to an address. I don't know why they told me to do that. They should have listened. They don't understand. You who are listening to this don't understand. There are monsters, real monsters, and one of them's in my desk. If You know how to. Please get rid of it. Well, interesting. I guess. Sounds like a ghost type. Most likely a spirit. Likely attached itself, possibly bound to the furniture itself. If it's confined to the desk, or, as I guessed, bound to it, or attached itself to it in a way, it's mostly a weak one. Limited. Possibly feeding on the taste of blood, or the emotions based around it. Clear manifesting in a way that's clearly too obvious than normal spirits should. Poor Maves. Marvs? Who cares? If any of you are hungry, Wind Horror Suite, number 8. Our slot won't be intervening. Not worth the paperwork for something that minor. As well, it seems that they keep changing the address to the radio tower. Making sure nobody, if they encounter more of you guys more than once, recognises the address. That's good at least. And I guess that's a better way to keep us from being found. Oh yeah, there's another thing. Martin. He reacted too quickly and calmly for a normal person. He might have remembered, which shouldn't have happened. The drugs should have weared in the second they got into this town. Too calm for the care liking. He might know more than he's saying. I might have to get someone to look into that. Anyways, for those who are still listening, you are vanished. You are sealed. You are bounded. If you're new to this town, you are part of it now. If you're a common listener to this, you already know the drill. You are sealed and bound and can't intervene. For tonight, at least. It's a pain that this only works once a week, but I guess that's the sins of binding this town to you lot. That I can only hold you off for 1 week. Maybe it's too much for us to handle. For one of us to manifest in such a way to bound you lot. On a good week, I might be able to bound you lot 3 times a week. If the stories are good enough. But from this one, seems the spirit that we're using to manifest the seal is too weak. Doesn't matter if this spirit is strong or weak, or even if it was still in that stupid drawer at this point. It's been used, sealed, and manifested into this. So even if you go hunting for it now, it's most likely, even at the weakest state it possibly could be. No point eating when the hunt is already basically over. When the victim has already dried itself from its being. I need to find stronger spirits, stronger things to use for these now from now on. Should get something to look into that. For even being a part of the government, I still don't know half the shit that I should know. At this point, I'm still just rabbiting on. If you still even care what I'm talking about, or if you're just forced to listen to these radio shows until the very end. I still don't know if you have to listen to just the story or the whole part. And well, to be honest, I couldn't give 2 shits at this point. Not until I get more information anyways. Well, you're part of Grey Force now and you can't leave. I do wonder though if you guys can ever leave this place. I wonder that for myself now, here and there. Can I really leave Grey 4s like you lot can? Well, of course you can't. When you're sealed here, you're stuck, and you can't hunt at night. And in daytime, they're always watching anyways. They're always prepared for a breakout that only the weakest of the weakest can really, truly try and escape. And even then, most of them get captured and brought back, or just tranquilized, deleted, extracted. Oh well. Remember, lock your doors and make sure nothing breathes in your furniture. So, rest well, Grey 4s. Remember to breathe and don't bleed. Blood attracts the unwanted. So good night, Grey 4s. Good night.